going to share this with some people. A few technical difficulties for absolutely no reason other than I think just Facebook doesn't like me. It all started when I called out the FIM, and it's just gone downhill from there.
Giuseppe Longo, he's just getting you from clear over there.
How is he still in control?
It's one of those things. I think when you're just ingrained so far into it, it's hard to get that out of there. Hard to get in new blood.
No, you just get rid of one, smack them around a little if you need to, and you put a new person in charge.
Well, I don't think they want a new person in charge.
Let's not even go into all this.
Anyways, it's when all that money passes under the table, you know.
Anyways, Moto Monday 134, Jeremiah. Chuck, how's it going, guys?
What's up?
What's up, guys?
Technical difficulties trying to get back up and going here. Apparently, I think Facebook put in a few restrictions. I've had a lot of people trying to get into my account, and I think they might have made it a little difficult. But we're live. We're going. And we got some goodies here.
Cannondale podcast.
We're not giving these away quite yet. We're going to do this on the after show.
After show,
But we got some goods. Might as well then we got bananas. By the way, no one guessed bananas. I don't think these are Bobby's.
Oh, okay.
These are not yours.
All right.
Got to have some good potassium in there. Keeps you going for when he's running around the track taking pictures.
Yeah, actually bananas are great on race day. Yeah, they're great. And so we got bananas. I don't know if anyone I don't know if anyone guessed bananas in the poll that I put up today.
I don't think so.
No.
We got some pretty random ones. I mean, we got rutabaga. We got, what are the fiddleheads?
Fiddleheads, that one, yeah.
That one threw me off. I was like, wow, that was creative. Okay. And peppers, all sorts of stuff. I don't think anyone got the bananas, and that's super generic.
It's just basic, so.
I think people were guessing I was trying to trick them, and they didn't expect the just basic bananas, but bananas are good.
Like I said, great for race day, keep from cramping.
Great for smoothies, too.
Yes.
Like, they can go in almost any smoothie.
Oh, dude, they go in every cereal ever made.
I never really got into that, to be honest.
You got to try it.
Maybe Raisin Bran. I'd throw in some bananas, but otherwise,
try it with everything. I mean, Lucky Charms, Fruit Loops, Cheerios, Frosted Flakes, banana. They're a great combination.
I might disagree.
That's one of those I don't know if I'd put them in, but you know.
Yeah, you put your bananas in Lucky Charms.
I do on a regular basis.
So are you adding that to your list of issues?
Well, I mean, I have a long list. I guess I could put it on the bottom. I'll get to it eventually.
Okay. I just don't know if I want to try it.
Can't knock it till you try it.
I've tried some pretty weird foods over the years, you know. I get creative, and I made a tuna fish taco the other day, okay? I've tried some weird stuff.
Okay.
I don't know if I want to try that.
Wait. Now, tuna fish taco, like, are you talking like tuna fish, like...
Or
usually like tuna, because I've had tuna in tacos and ahi tacos. So
No. I made the mayonnaise and the cheap $1 can of tuna.
The cheap
Bear with me. So you stir that all up, put in some salt. Now you got your tuna like you'd put in a tuna sandwich, right?
Yes. Well, not me, but somebody.
Okay. I took mozzarella and I grilled it on both sides and made like a tortilla out of mozzarella, and I cooled it, and then I have a keto tuna sandwich.
Interesting.
Huh. I think I'll go back to the bananas and Lucky Charms myself.
There you go, bud.
Hey, it was surprisingly good.
Okay.
I'll
take your word for it, because it's definitely not easy.
It was a big risk.
Yeah, that
it looked a little scary, but it was not bad. I've done
grilled
that a few
Parmesan?
times. No, mozzarella.
Mozzarella, okay.
Yes. So you just throw mozzarella in a pan and get hot and let it kind of boil, then quickly flip it, and then it's kind of like you got that
like a chalupa look or something.
Okay. It looks like a chalupa. It's got that crisp, and then you cool it in the fridge, and it literally feels like a thick shell.
Huh.
It's just a cheese shell. That's all it is. Works kind of good for holding stuff, and so if you don't want to have a bunch of carbs, can't believe we're talking about mozzarella on the podcast.
Hey,
but
a corn tortilla has very few carbs to begin with. It's not like a flour tortilla.
Sometimes I like to mix it up and be different.
Okay.
Interesting.
I have not tried a banana tortilla though.
Well,
but I don't think you could actually pull it off.
It's on the list. I'll bring you one next week.
Could you fried bananas or what? Like, yeah.
Have you ever had fried banana?
No.
Who was it? Somebody. I had a friend who told me that like it was a way to go, and they actually grilled the bananas.
Huh.
I guess they do it the plantains.
Yeah, the plantains. So that makes
no,
sense.
they actually just did bananas, and you know, it was okay. So sometimes you gotta think outside of the box. Like I want to try the watermelon ham. Have you seen that?
No, that's
Literally, you got guys. Google this. They take a watermelon, they skin off all the green stuff, and you just end up this red hunk, and then they slice the top like you would like a nice ham, and they put in a brine of a bunch of herbs and stuff, and they smoke it for like 24 hours.
Huh. I've seen them do pineapples that way, but I've never heard of a
Watermelon. Look it up.
Watermelon
It looks
ham.
like a ham, and it's really smoky, and it's still a watermelon though. It's really funky. It's like 45 or 50 bucks for a smoked watermelon.
Huh.
Okay.
I've got a smoker. I think I can knock that price down
Yeah,
a little
you
bit.
can do it.
I can chip that down a hair.
Two-Stroke Revolution now offers smoked watermelon.
Smoked watermelon.
It could be a thing.
Oh, you got to try apples in the air fryer. Before we get out of left field, apples.
How
air
did we
fryer.
start the
Come on now.
podcast with this?
I don't know, man.
Bananas, I guess, or
We got the bananas here, yes.
chicken heads or whatever they were. Fiddle heads. That's
The
what
fiddle
it was.
Fiddleheads,
Yes.
yeah.
The
That's
fiddleheads,
it.
yes.
Yeah.
The,
Harley
the
Davidson
ferns.
fans.
The
as you
ferns.
said.
Yes. Weird things.
There's a lot of interesting food out there that sometimes it's the best we don't really dabble in, but sometimes, it's like people eat different things.
Yeah. I heard haggis is good. I'm not trying it.
Wait, what?
Haggis?
What's that?
I guess it's a Scottish where they stuff barley and stuff inside a goat's stomach or intestines or something.
Yes, I've
Yes,
heard of this.
yeah.
Yeah,
Just
no,
doesn't-
I'm probably good on that.
Yeah, no.
Thank you, though.
Doesn't. No. Nah.
Back to dirt bikes.
Yes, back to dirt
We're
bikes.
starting to get a little weird.
Yeah, we're getting off there, getting off topic a little bit.
Now we're
So,
talking about goat stomachs. Okay. So for people that don't know you folks here, like Jeremiah, you've been on several times.
Yes.
Chuck, you've been on at least once, right?
I think I stepped in one time. It's been quite a while.
It's been a minute, yes.
yeah, it has.
And you're also the finish line flagger
Yeah,
at
so
Riverdale sometimes, and sometimes a stager, sometimes a starter. You're kind of a
you
jack of all
never really
trades.
know what you're gonna get from me. I just show up and help because I love the racing. I love being there. I love being a part of it and watching it and experiencing it. But yeah, basically I'm a beginner level rider. I've got kids that ride. I just love everything about racing and motorcycles and want to be a part of it. So I try to help out at Riverdale where I can, where I'm needed. Sometimes it's starting, sometimes it's staging, and lately it's been finish line flagging. So
Pulling kids
whatever
up
you
the
need,
starting
man, let's
line-
go.
up the finish line.
Yeah, let's go. Pulling 50s up the finish line because you know it's going to be muddy out there.
Jeremiah, a little bit of the same thing. You've had a couple jobs at Riverdale.
Yes, I've had a few.
You've been this year running the office and being the rule book master.
Yes, race marshal.
That's
Fun stuff.
It's a lot of action.
It's good. I love it. I love that the office, it's running real smooth this year. So we've had really good turnouts the first two races, which,
Just a little.
yeah, big turnouts. And that, I'm glad it ran as smoothly as it did for what it could have turned into, especially the last race. We had 480 riders.
480 entries, and we have to get done before dark, which dark in
4:30.
January is like, maybe 5.
Maybe if we're lucky.
Yeah, it's 5
It's
is
cutting it
pushing
close, like-
When I was entering in riders, I'm looking at it like, oh, this is not good.
So I'm hoping we have,
51 250 beginner entries.
yeah.
51.
I know, we had to score that, Moto. That was a lot of fun. That was that's a lot of beginners.
That was a lot of beginners. And by the way, I think we had at least 5 in there with no numbers.
I think we had 5 in there with duplicate numbers. So we had
PSA, if you guys race, please put a number on your bike.
Please.
all 3 number plates, front and both sides, please.
Yes.
Legible, preferably white on black, black on white.
I know it looks cool, and honestly, I did it too. To get the graphic kits to have like the subtle looking numbers on them.
Yeah.
But when I show up, I know what I know what it's like to be a score a lap counter.
Yeah.
And I know there's a good chance I'm not getting scored because
When
my
it's-
numbers are small. It's red, black on red. I get it,
Well, no, I've seen
but I
it-
don't really care.
what you've done black on gloss black, like matte black on gloss black. So
But I'm just having fun. If
Yeah.
I don't get scored, I don't get scored. If I race at PIR, they're going to DNF me anyway. So whatever.
well, you know, it happens. So
But
certain tracks treat people different.
if you would like scored, make the numbers legible.
yes, please.
That's a little suggestion.
And if you have a Yamaha, stop putting black numbers on it, please. Those are the hardest.
Just
to
black
see.
numbers on the blue number.
Oh, the black and
Yes.
blue?
numbers on the blue plate.
dark blue plates,
Oh,
yeah.
oh, it's almost impossible. One
Black,
little
like I
fleck
said,
of mud on there.
black
and
numbers,
You just can't see it.
Black
It's-
numbers, white backgrounds, or
Yeah.
white numbers, black backgrounds. Pretty simple.
Yeah, no, the Yamahas are the worst, man. And then, you know, you got the kids on the 65s, like my kids are on 65s. They have 3-digit numbers. Those are small numbers, man.
Yeah.
They're hard to see.
I know a PW number plate, by the way, as a graphics guy, the numbers on those are on average 2.5 inches tall.
Yeah.
From
Not
50
much
feet
to-
away,
You can't
there's
see
no
'em.
number.
No.
It's so tough.
No, the actual lap counters go down. They have one of the guys go down and lap count the 50s when the PWs are on
Those-
the track.
Yeah, and then they get mud flung on them. Can we give it like a quick shout out for those PW racers though?
Those guys are awesome.
They're champs.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think we had, was it 18 or 20 of them at the last round?
Yeah, there was a
And
big turnout.
We're talking 10-inch wheels. They're that big.
Yeah.
In the mud. In
This
the
deep of
ruts.
mud?
And they have 2.5 horsepower.
Yeah. If you're lucky. That's if they're tuned correctly.
Right.
That's if they're running good. They haven't had 90 hours put on the top end. Like that's
Yes.
a good run in PW is 2.5 horsepower. It's not much to get you through ruts.
No.
And those kids are just champs. And when they crash, I've seen some kids crash their brains out. They roll and they just start running for their bike.
Yep.
I mean, you're at the finish line.
Yeah,
You see this.
I see it firsthand, man. And there's a lot of PW tricks too. You know, a lot of these moto dads know you got to pull that header pipe off. You got to get the torch going in the air compressor and clean those things out. You know, I'm not going to reveal every secret on here, of course, but there is ways to get more power out of the PW.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, every spark arrestor is laying in somebody's garage because
Right.
they just rip those things out, right? You can tell right on the track, "Argh." right off the bat.
Yeah, just get rid of it. And still, though, those kids, I mean, it takes everything those kids got to go out there. We had a kid on a Stasic. Did you see that?
The last round, we had a kid on a Stasic, made it
And he was-
one full, no, 2 laps. He actually made it 2 laps, I think.
I don't remember.
He was going for it.
Maybe I was out directing traffic because we cut the track short. I was one of the people who's the targets. Have you noticed
Yes.
little 50 kids that kind of get that tunnel vision, and they just go and you'll wave at them and it's like they don't see you, they just run into you.
You
Oh,
jump
you're
out of the
talking
way.
250 beginners or 50 kids? I got confused there for a second. Sorry. Maybe they're the same.
It's like they don't
Pretty
see.
close. They both get tunnel vision.
You step right out in front of them and you wave your arms. Yellow flags, red flags, black flags don't matter. They just pin it right at you.
Well, they're in it to win it, man.
Yeah.
For sure. You know, they know one thing, and I mean, I remember when my son was in the 50 class, and I mean, he would just turn off the track. This was that Thursday night. You know, the finish line's here, and you're going this direction. You got a whole track to do, and he just, oh, there's a finish line. He just cut across and go this way.
yeah,
You
they
know,
kind of
they
just
don't
get
have any idea what they're doing.
their whole game plan in their head, and they don't deviate.
Yeah.
And they do not allow for changes. They do not allow for flaggers stepping in front of them, spectators, dogs, deer, don't matter. Like they just go.
Hey, when it's time to go, you got to go.
So when
bud.
you have
That's-
to change the track on them and cut the track shorter because of the mud,
It-
you realize you might have 20 PWs running you over.
I was standing out at the base of the finish line table because we ran them around that last time, and I had 3 of them come through the flags
Yep.
because I had moved the flags, and then coming at me, I'm like, no, you got to go that way.
And they're like, nope,
No.
this is where I'm going. And they just blow right through. I literally watched a rider at the last round. I think it was the corner where the big mud puddle was kind of developing.
Oh, in the very back
And
there,
so
yeah.
he was yellow flagging, trying to show the 50 riders, hey, go around it this way. And a rider went right through. Like he took the flag to the face.
Yes.
And he just, nope, that's where I'm going.
That's my spot. That's where I'm going.
Yeah, and he literally, I was like, I wish I would have got a picture because he took the full yellow flag to the face. And then you see the flag, I was like, what?
It happens, you know. It's
They're in race mode
yes, they are in race.
and they're
mode.
going.
Man, these 50 riders are my favorite because it really shows where we're at as a sport, especially at a local, what would you call it? I mean, at a local level. How many riders are out there? How many parents are out there putting the work in to get their kids out there on the track? And we're still growing, we're still changing, we're still evolving, and we're doing well, even in in the times we're in.
Yeah.
And I hear people, especially jump on some of these like Facebook groups, old school motocross, and you get the old crusty dudes, a bunch of pansies and stuff. I don't know if you really watched a PW race or a 50 race. These kids are tough as nails.
Yeah, they're doing some gnarly stuff. They're going through, like I said, a 10-inch tire does not go through mud very well.
No, and these kids, they're battling, they're duking it out, they're crashing hard and covered in mud and just standing up, running to the bike, yelling because they're ticked off that they lost the battle they're in, pick up the bike and go. And
The 18th place battle.
It doesn't,
it doesn't matter where they're at.
They're out there to battle.
Yep.
I'm like, no, these little kids are tough as nails.
Well, and then you go out to PIR and you see these kids hucking double the Landfierce Leap on 50s. That's...
Yeah,
that's a little different level there.
You hear that bike just completely tapped.
Yeah, they're hoping that they're going to make it.
They're just throttle lock,
Yeah.
sit down, pray.
Yes.
And they go and they do it. I remember, I think it was Connor Mitchell was one of the first people I saw huck Lanfear's Leap on a 50. And yeah, it was just me. And I was like watching, like, there's nothing more that bike even has in it. And he just kind of gives a little bounce.
A little seat bounce, yep.
He's doing everything he can to give it a little bounce at the top to help make it. And he's clipping. Like, he's barely making it, but he just kept doing it and just kept doing it.
Yeah,
It's savage.
insane how
Savage.
these kids are just, there's no other way to put it, savage to watch them out there. And then they just keep progressing. 65s, I mean, that's the cool thing about our sport is it's not like going to a baseball game or, kids football game. It's the dads are racing with the kids, the moms, uncle, brothers, sisters, the whole family's racing.
Yeah, there's
together.
classes for everybody.
Yes.
Like, so
Grandpa?
Chuck, you could go out with the kids and like you race when you're not working. You race, they race, you're doing it together.
Yeah, no, that's the cool thing, man, is when I don't like to race when I am working because I like to concentrate on the race, especially if I have the kids there. Having a kid racing takes a lot of time and effort. But I mean, I can put the kids in the 65 beginner class. I can put myself in the 250 beginner, in the 30 plus beginner, and we can race all day. We can have a good time, bring the barbecue, bring the fire pit and just make a day of it. And it's really a family event. And, I have a lot of friends at the racetrack, and it's just an awesome time for all of us to hang out. And I don't think there's another sport like it. There's not a team sport like it where you get that camaraderie and the friendship and the help from everyone else.
Exactly.
It's just an awesome sport, man.
Yeah, and you're all more involved.
Oh, you
as
have to be.
opposed to like you go watch Little League. You have one person who's going out into that team sport and you all sit around with your blankets and kind of watch. Whereas Moto, you're all involved, you're all part of it. And you're not going there and there's a coach telling your kid what to do. You are the coach. Plus, you might coach him, and then 2 motos later, you're out racing.
Yep.
And then a lot of families, like the Pugh family, everybody races.
Yeah, you
Like
got mom,
you see,
sister, brother, dad, everybody.
they're all out racing. They're all out doing it, and I think it's just you're way more involved.
Well, you have to be involved because you have to have, and it gets everybody involved because, say Chuck's working the finish line and his kid's coming up in 65 moto, who's out there? Billy's out there, maybe Porter's out there, somebody's out there, mom's out there. Somebody's got to get that kid to the line, get him set up, get him going. So there's always, it takes a family of everybody, not just family, friends. Everybody has to do, and everybody pitches in and does what they need to do to make it an
Exactly.
enjoyable day.
I think it's a good time to get your wife racing pit bikes.
I've tried. I've had her on a pit bike one time, and we're working on it. We're working on it. I need to buy another 110 for sure.
We could set this up. Like, we could make
we
this
should
happen.
do that. I think we should put some effort into this. For
I
sure.
think that would be good then to get the whole crew out racing.
Yeah, let's do it.
Everybody. You, Missy, boys, just
Yeah.
I'm
let's
totally
get it.
calling her out right now.
No,
but,
let's go, man. I need to buy.
Race
I
a pit
almost
bike
bought
race.
one. I almost bought a bike from Michael Smith the other week. I didn't do it. I should have.
He's been slinging some pit bikes.
He has.
They've been
He has.
keep popping up for good prices too. They're
It's
not
getting a little better right
It's
now.
not that like $3,000 KLX 110.
Yeah, no, it's been getting better. For
I don't
sure.
know if you saw the one that I posted a few days ago.
The
CRF 110,
$6,500 out in Georgia.
$6,500.
Yeah, that.
I'm looking at. I'm like, you can get a 450 for that price, and that's a stock mod class 110.
I could get.
That's not a full mod 110. That is a stock mod class 110.
I could get a 5-year-old 125 and a 5-year-old 250 for that.
No, I was
Together.
looking at my bike. Like my bike's 3 years old. I would have to build that thing immensely to get 6,500 out of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're just bikes aren't worth that much. I'm sorry, they're really not.
$6,500. I can get a year of racing at PIR, a pit bike, and a Camaro to take my pit bike to the track.
Exactly. You know, so Firebird, come on, it can't. It's
Okay.
you, Justin. You got to be a little bit off. So
El Camino?
El Camino, hey, there you go.
I'm thinking El
Okay.
Camino or Ford Ranchero.
Yeah.
Those are the
well,
ultimate
the
bike
Ranchero,
haulers.
more that might be more.
That
your
might
stuff.
be in
Yeah.
the price range a little
Well,
more.
no, I just know you, so it's got to be obscure. Maybe
I like
even
the El Caminos.
the Caballero, the GMC Caballero, which is an El
Ooh.
Camino, but it's the GMC version.
That's very nice.
Man, we're
Did that
really
come with
getting
air
obscure.
conditioning?
And they had a black with like this gold knight on the hood.
I might be down for that.
Yeah, I think that just has you written all over it, like an 80 Caballero or something.
Nah, if we're gonna really go like my thing, one of these days I will show up at the track in a Volkswagen thing with my pit bike on a hitch on the back.
That would make, yeah, that I can see that. No, off the front, because the back's where the motor is, so you have to have the hitch carrier off the front.
Oh shoot, it would be on the front. See, it's complicating things now.
No,
I
it's
don't
not.
want. I
I'm
don't want to
just-
get it damaged on the way to the track.
It'd be fine. Sort of a little clear plexiglass over the front of it, call it good.
I'll think about this.
I've got a 3-rail you can borrow anytime. That would look good
Volkswagen
behind
thing, though?
anything.
I think
Volkswagen
you'd
thing.
have like maybe a Volkswagen Squareback, so you could put the pit bike in the back of it.
See, growing up, I had a problem where all the cars that I liked, my dad didn't, to the point of I gave him the list of the cars I wanted for my first car, and he's like, if you buy any of those top 3 that you just listed, you have to move out. Because it was a El Camino, Volkswagen thing, and a Carmen Ghia.
See, I can go with the 2 out of 3.
He's like, no, you have to move. You can't live with me.
2 out of 3. I'm not a Carmen Ghia fan, but definitely the thing's pretty cool.
It's
Drop top, like that. And then El Camino, you can't go wrong with an El Camino.
yeah. He told me I had to move out at 16. He's like, no, you'd have to move out if you got one. Sorry, you can't park that here.
And you didn't just buy one?
No, I went for an Astrovan.
Was it an
And took
all-wheel
the back
drive?
seat
It
Yeah.
had to been an all-wheel drive. Was it a
Yeah.
white all-wheel drive one?
No, unfortunately, it was not all-wheel
Green.
drive.
Oh man,
It was blue.
Okay, so
You know, you don't. Once again, left field, way out there. You don't see many Astrovans on the road anymore.
yeah.
You really don't.
That- every once
Such
in-
a great vehicle too.
Yeah.
I mean, all-purpose, they're awesome.
V6, they were V6s.
Yeah,
they
they
got
were
good
awesome.
mileage. Yeah, we used to
Yeah.
use them for work rigs.
Yeah.
One of my neighbors still has one, and it has spinners.
Ooh.
Oh.
Is that thing for sale?
Not that I'm aware of. But
But
it
there's
I
everything for
literally
sale.
had to, the first time I saw it, I had to turn around and come back by and like, did he put spinners on it? He did.
You have to. It's an Astro.
They're not true spinners, it's the spinner
The hub-
hubcaps.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh,
No,
oh,
those,
yeah.
those are actually
Classy,
better than real
yeah, so-
spinners, in my opinion. The hubcaps, because you can, if you got to go to church, you can take them off.
And look like you're an adult then.
Yeah, there you go. Put them
Okay.
back on Monday morning, rock them through Saturday night, and then just pop them off, set them on the shelf in the garage, shine them up real good, of course.
And you can fit a bike in the back of an Astrovan.
Oh,
It takes
absolutely.
You could get
finagling.
a full-size bike, but
Yes.
those are the perfect pit bike. 2 pit bikes
Two
in the
pit
back.
bikes side by side,
Yep.
yes.
Yeah.
Big bike though, I made it. What did I have? A KX 125 maybe at the time. You just kind of had to take out the back seat,
Probably
Jimmy
slid it
rig.
over and then back up.
and give a really good slam on the rear door,
Yeah.
and you're good.
Yeah. Dude, I
it's
had
not
in my Suburban, I could fit my 125 in it. I would just turn the gas off, drain the carburetor, and then put my 125 in there pretty much on its side. And it was perfect, man.
That was
And
the
you could-
KTM?
Yeah, and you could stick
Yep.
the 110 on top of the 125 again, turn the gas off, drain the carburetor, and you're good. And it's a Suburban, so if you do drip a little gas in the back, roll the window down a bit, dude. It's fine.
Yeah.
Was
It's
that the
made for
KTM that
stuff.
we all owned?
Yes.
Yeah.
we all
yeah.
owned.
That was
Yeah.
actually my favorite bike I ever had in my life. That
Sad.
2003 KTM
Yep.
125. Say what you want in the comments, man, but that thing was awesome. I put more miles on that trail riding, track riding, doing whatever. I mean, I rode the Desert 100 on it.
Did we
I
ever
rode
rebuild
Riverdale
that
on
bike?
it.
Any of us?
I did.
Oh, you did.
I
Okay.
put a new top
I
end in it.
honed the
and
cylinder in it. That's right. for you,
Honestly,
right?
that top end that I took out of it was fine.
It's a
Like
KTM.
we
babe.
all rode it. The thing was fine. I put a new one in. And I was like, that's exactly the same as it was before. I just did it for the fun of it, you know. But I mean, that was my first race that you talked me into at Thursday night. Was on that bike. First track day that you talked me into was at Riverdale on that bike. That was an awesome bike. I really wish I would have kept it.
Yeah, for people who don't know, yeah, that KTM we've all owned.
Yes.
And there's actually a few bikes that me and Jeremiah have both owned. I think I even got, there was one I went 3 times. With the TM?
The TM and the 350, I think, because I had the 350, then you had the 350, then the 350
And then I
came
went
back
back
to
to
me.
you.
Yes.
Yes.
Same with the TM, the 144. I
The
think
one-
that might have went 4 times
I'm pretty sure the
'Cause-
TM 144 went 4 times.
because I bought it, drove it home, and stopped at your shop, and you seen it. You're like, I want it, and I was like, really? I just offered to go get it for you.
And you bought it back, and I bought it back, and I don't know
Then
where it went.
I bought it back after that because you blew it up again, twice.
I have a problem, yes.
You know what? We figured it out though.
True.
It was those aftermarket little stubby fuel things on the top of the gas cap. The one wasn't venting. It wasn't vented out, so it would just run it lean and smoke the piston.
Yeah, it was like vapor locking it, right?
Yeah, it was
The
just pretty
vapor
much.
locking the gasoline
Yeah.
in there because it wasn't being vented. Have you noticed a lot of the gas caps now? Like I was looking, which one was it? It actually has its. You almost don't even need any of that. It has its own. Because okay, so the old school ones, like we're talking 2006,
Were just-
2007, where they thought they'd be fancy and have no vent hose.
Yeah.
But it was just like a vapor system on the bottom.
Yep.
Almost everyone's kind of going to that now.
Yeah, all the
Like-
new bikes are kind of setting that. They still have a vent hose on
Yeah, they
it,
still have
so-
the vent hose, but if you look underneath, they got that little ring system.
Yeah.
And they kind of will do it without it.
It's got like
back
a
in
little
the-
check valve in there, so.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
It used to be cool though. Like you were one of the cool kids if you had one of the stubby caps, and how you knew it was a Spode is if they didn't trim it.
Oh, 'cause it was
2.5
this
inches or
long,
so.
yeah.
Yeah, it was this long. The cool kids would trim just a little more, so
it'd set
shorter.
down, yep.
You had HRP chest protectors with the chrome shoulder pads, and you had the
Oh.
Troy Lee wing.
And tell me you had like SMP pants or something.
No, you had
LBZs.
white Tech 8s.
White. Oh.
White Tech 8s. And that's when you knew that guy was fast.
I can hear Reese going, I love that gear.
And for a short stint around the Northwest, you had to run your levers high.
Yeah, no.
It was like maybe a year, and I've brought this up before, but you used to have to run your levers like way up like this, above the bars. And that was what the fast kids did.
I
And
couldn't do that.
That's just. I think that's only Ronnie Mack now.
Yeah. I think they just end up there and that's
They
where
just end
stay,
up
yeah.
there. You know, I mean, you got to get in a good tuck.
Yeah.
Cut
Can
that
we,
wind.
Can we take a moment to appreciate just how fast Ronnie Mack goes
He
Oh,
on
moves,
that
man.
bike?
When he's spoding, he's fast, which is it's to be able to goon ride at that speed is insane. Because the amount of skill it takes to goon ride without crashing your brains out, it's pretty awesome.
Yes.
No, the
And
guys.
the bike that he's on is quite possibly one of the top 5 worst Hondas ever built.
Oh yeah, 97, 98, 99 CR250s.
I think it's a 98 CR250.
Yeah.
That's right up there with the CR480. That's just like,
God,
it should have never
480.
been made.
Or the CR450, the original one. That was like 81 or 82. That was the predecessor to the 480.
Oh, yes, yes.
The 450, I think, was even worse than the 480. Left-hand kick, if I remember right, and it was, yeah, my uncle had one of those bikes.
Left-hand kick is when you run out of ideas to be different and you just decide to be a royal pain in the butt
Or you're
to
European.
everybody.
Or an ATK.
Doesn't matter. Why would you? I had a left-hand kick motorcycle called a Husaberg.
Oh yeah, well, it's a European bike. That was
Why?
a European thing. I don't know, because that's the way they were from like the early 60s. So
It's a dumb idea.
it takes a little bit to get used to.
No, it just is a dumb idea. Just across the board, dumb idea.
I actually bought a left-hand kick bike on purpose one time when I shattered my tibial plateau and my leg. I was in a cast for 3 months and then didn't ride a bike for 8 months, and my leg was about this big. I could not physically kick a bike with my right leg. So I bought an ATK because it kicked on the left-hand side.
That's got to be hard to get used to, man.
It's
That's difficult. When I broke my right arm twice, and there's a lot of things you got to do with your left hand that you got to get used to. It
gotta
takes
get
some
used to
practice,
it.
buddy.
Yes.
It takes some practice.
Have you ever had a forward kick bike though? Because I had a Vertimati.
well, other than the little KTM 50s.
Okay,
but
not a
no.
little 50, yeah, the 50s.
Yeah.
But I had a Vertimati 530 with the forward kick. That was
That's a
funky.
534 stroke with a forward kick and probably a 3-speed transmission or something.
It was either a 3 or 4 speed, yes.
Yes.
It was not a bad bike though, but the kicking was very strange because it was, I think, 170-degree kick.
So you had to go all the way down.
So the trick was I had an auto decomp, so it wasn't that hard to kick.
Oh, nice.
But it had to go from straight up to under the foot pedal. Like it was
You had to kick it all the way
longest
through.
swing, and you could almost do it with your hand, but it would never start unless you got the full stroke.
Okay.
But I was like, it's the longest stroke in the world. It's like you have to lean back off the bike and then push into it because it went all the way under the foot peg.
That's strange. But it's like a CR500 where you have to that thing has to be at the very top click and it has to go all the way down and through for it to start. If you don't, it don't.
That's what I love about having the opportunity to own a fuel injected bike now. It's so awesome. You just barely kick that thing and it starts right up every time.
This
Or
is
the button,
super nice.
The
Yeah,
button,
is
yeah,
nice.
So I haven't evolved
You have
to
a
that level
Kawasaki.
yet.
Yeah.
It's getting there. Hey, the 21s are electric.
Yeah, 21's are electric
Yeah.
start.
And
Mine-
by
mine's an
2030,
18, but-
Suzuki might be,
You know, Suzuki, they might have it.
When they turn to a yellow KTM, they will. So
They just might.
it's it's the next. That's
you
the
think
next
that's
one.
going to happen?
That's the next fall.
So now here's my argument on that. I would disagree because what would KTM want out of Suzuki?
I think KTM wants to have a 2-stroke company in. Could you imagine just an RM? You had the chance to buy an RM 250 or an RM 125 brand new.
Man, I think Suzuki. So, here's my opinion. I think the Suzuki is the best looking bike. I think it's the hardest to beat. You got the yellow on black. I think that's the best looking kit
with a little
out
bit of
there.
blue through it.
Yeah. I really think that's the best looking kit.
The gold
I don't think
forks.
Kawasaki can compete. Honda, maybe. I don't think so.
The new
Suzuki, man, they look good. They
That new
might
Honda
be
gas
slow,
gas
they
looks
might
really
be
good.
heavy, and you got to kick them, but they look good, man.
They're not that slow. I mean, it's
No,
a
they're
450.
really
it's
not.
not that slow.
I don't mind the Suzukis at all,
No.
honestly. I'll make fun of them because they're really behind the times, but you can go perfectly fine on a brand new Suzuki at even the local pro level without...
Mike Smith. He's done it.
Let's
so-
be real. They're just fine.
Yeah.
Even if they're 10 pounds overweight, we get 20 pounds of mud at Riverdale.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like, it's 10 pounds. It's so minute. I like to give Suzuki a hard time, but their bikes are perfectly capable of winning any race.
Yes. And at what, $6,500 for a brand new 450? Not too bad.
Yeah. No, they're perfectly fine. I love watching the internet when people complain about this and bikes. Oh, I got the new 21. Like, do you realize, I once in a while get salty and I make the comment, like, do you realize that you're incapable of even riding that bike to 50% of its potential?
Oh, no. I know this because
I'll
I've
go
ridden them.
hop on my, pick a bike, butt wiggle.
Oh, yeah.
CRF 150, and I'll go race you then.
Shush,
because
don't say the CRF 150 because we've all been there. I've been passed by that bike.
it is fun to get a new bike. It is fun to get all the upgrades and this stuff. It's not necessary to go fast.
No, it's not. Well, when I had the shop in Battleground, that was one of the reasons I kind of started Two Stroke Revolution and did that was I sponsored a kid that year, Jared Newberg. He was 250 junior class. He was
I'm
riding
like an 01 too, right?
04. So
Was
he.
it I thought he had the older one, the older plastic.
No, he did that the very last race. So that's. But for the season, I built him because he was racing the 250 class on a 04 CR 125, and I had built the 250 for me.
Oh,
and I had it all set
okay.
up, and we went up to Riverdale, and I seen him up there, threw him on my bike, and he's like, "Yeah, I really like this. It's like my bike, but faster." I was like, "Cool." So came home and talked to the wife at the time. Was like, "Hey, I don't want to get hurt. Just open the shop. Let's put Jared on the bike for the year." and he went out and won the High Point Trophy in the 250 junior class. And the last race of the season, it came down to the very last race between him and Nate Willett. Nate was on a brand new YZ 250F. He had blown up the 04, so he was on my 01 that was set up for the trails. Still had the skid plate, the radiators. We pulled his suspension off and threw it on that bike. And he went out and he finished third because they both had to move up to the intermediate class. And he finished third, and I think Nate finished fourth and won the championship. On a 04 CR 250 that was, the motor was bone stock other than a pipe and reeds.
It's fun to get the new bike. It's fun to get the parts, and they can help, but it is not necessary to go have a good time
No.
or to do well, honestly, because we can't ride most of these modern bikes to their full potential. I mean, Chuck, can you ride your bike to its full potential?
Absolutely not. No. And the one thing I was going to say, man, is so I have an 18 KX 250. The newest bike I had before that was the bike I sold to you, the 04 CR 250, two-stroke. And the
Another
difference.
bike I owned.
I forgot about
Yeah.
that. Another bike we all owned.
I bought that from Benny Dominguez. It was
Yep.
it was Josh Fuller bike. Your bike,
Oh, that bike bounced around a lot.
That came from Justin Gallagher over in Eastern Oregon.
That's where it started,
yeah,
huh?
yep.
But man, like the difference between the 04 and the 18, I mean, everything's better on the 18. Like if you don't like Kawasaki, that's fine, but the brakes are better, the power's better, the chassis better, suspension's better, everything's better on it. And it's a great bike. And I felt like when I first got it, I felt like I was cheating riding it. But that's the reason I don't have a 450 is because until I can wrap my 250 out, like why would I don't need a 450 just to go in first gear everywhere.
Watch Jim Anderson on his mid-80s YZ250 at 50-some years of age go smoke everybody and you realize there's a lot to be said about your riding ability.
Yes.
Not the bike, because that bike is older than most people at the track. He's older than almost everybody at the track, and he'll go out in the intermediate class
Yeah, and
in his mid-50s
And smoke some
and
fools.
just smoke some people.
yeah.
So, I mean, it is fun. I'm not trying to like bash on people here. It is a lot of fun to build a bike up and get a newer bike, and there are things that help. But it's that fine line of, yes, it is, but also I don't think we should make it seem like you have to have that to be able to show up on race day, have a good time, or compete.
No, you don't have to.
Because not everybody can afford that.
I've been-
And if you're out there on a freaking 97 KX 125, I think you could do just fine in the 250 class.
Yeah.
I
Go
will-
have fun. Ring that sucker out and have fun.
The first
Throw in some
race,
Blendzall.
the first race I ever did on my TX 300, which is, I'm going to tell you right now, one of the best modern two-strokes out there. Smooth power, good transmission, suspension was awesome. I was stuck behind an 80 RM 400 with a 60-year-old man on it, and I could not get around him. That shows you where my riding ability was at that time. I was on a bike that could have smoked the whole class. I couldn't.
Yeah.
I followed him. Those two shocks followed him 2 motos straight.
That was, man, years ago. I think right when I moved intermediate, I was out at Woodland, and I was feeling good, kind of, which is rare at Woodland. Normally I just crash my brains out. But I was feeling good, putting in some practice laps, and there's some dude on a two-stroke. I thought at the time it was Mark Bunker, because I was feeling pretty like I'm one of the hot boys out here, and somebody was on my butt. And I've told this story, and after like a lap, like, what the heck? And I look back, and it's Jim Anderson wearing vintage gear on his vintage
On his
YZ.
YZ
I'm like,
250.
how are you going that fast? I let him by, and he's, "Whoa," and I think he waved at me, like, yeah, hi Jim, bye. Yeah, you know, it's.
Well, you know, it is talent. I mean, I've been out on the track doing vintage days where, yeah, you're on vintage bikes, but guys are going as fast on their vintage bikes as fast guys are going on their modern bikes. Like, well, Chuck's son out there at Riverdale racing with him. You go up to the Northwest Challenge and watch those guys on Washougal when they're doing their vintage bikes. There are some fast guys out
Some
there.
boys throw down, yeah. So, I mean, it's fun to have the freshest stuff, but if you can't afford it, just get whatever you can. Go out there, just have a good time, and you can still compete. You just put in the work, you put in the laps, you can do just fine on pretty much anything.
If
This
you
is a
can-
long conversation looping around for me making fun of Suzuki, I know, but it's
Well, no, but it's true.
how I look at it.
You go out there on a, say, we've talked about this a lot, 93 CR250.
XR100.
Oh, well, that one didn't hold up. We know that. Never
Almost.
did. Never made it a
Almost.
race.
Hey, we got close.
Close.
Last lap.
Close doesn't count, though. So, but a 93 CR250, that bike makes good power. It's a pretty modern motor, modern suspension. It's a steel frame bike. Hey, guess what? KTM, Husky, Gas, doing
use
pretty
it.
good with steel frames. So, not too worried there. But that bike, if it's set up for your weight, of course, replace the bearings, make sure the brakes work right, new tires.
Basics.
Set that bike up with the suspension for your weight, and you go out and you ride that bike for 6-8 months straight, 2-3 times a week, you're going to be fast on that bike. You're going to be just as fast on that bike as jumping on a 2021 CRF 450 that you've ridden for a week. I can guarantee it.
Oh yeah. Oh, hands down.
It's getting comfortable on the equipment you're working with.
You disagree on the XR100 though.
The XR, well, there was no making that bike better. It just didn't
No,
last.
I'm building another one.
The XR100, you could go from idling and floor that thing and have a half a sandwich and a cigarette before it reached maximum RPM. I mean, she was a slow rever. It was not a race machine.
Well,
but it would get you
yeah.
from A to B.
Justin passed me on one, so I will say
Yeah,
that.
well.
And it was an off-road race.
I
finished. He didn't.
I did an off-road
Okay.
race, and I got a dead last start. And when I say dead last, I mean they were pretty much out of sight by the time I got to the corner.
Okay.
But after that, once I got the momentum going and some RPMs kind of
That's
going,
where it's at with the XRs, all the XRs. Momentum. You got to keep those RPMs up because they drop. It takes a long time to get them back up again.
I slowly worked my way up, and I passed 26 riders and I got into the lead.
Not bad.
Until I finally ran out of parts to break on it because what were we, one tooth off the counter shaft sprocket broke off.
No, 2 teeth out the counter shaft.
Was it 2?
sprocket. Yes, we lost 2 teeth
At least 2 or 3 off the rear.
off the rear.
I lost an engine mount bolt, bent the bars.
I think both engine mount bolts, because the one that held the clutch one was
It was-
completely gone.
Well, I was holding in with my knee.
Oh, that's the one that you
The
kept-
nut came off and I was holding it. It kept rattling out and I pushed it
Yeah.
back in with my knee as I'm riding.
Very nice.
That's the one you bent the shifter up over the brake pedal.
No, the brake
pedal up over the foot peg.
within the first 10 minutes of
Yeah.
the hour and a half race, the brake pedal somehow did this like curly Q Dr. Seuss thing and was not there.
Very nice.
Yeah, it pretzeled itself around the foot peg and then back up somewhere in the back. So
Yeah, so I had
I
no
think it
rear
was acting as
brake.
a brake on the rear tire.
Pretty much fried the front brake, bent the bars because I thought I could charge into some ruts and just get through it. And I think it was actually the axle that was caught because it was deep, deeper than the axle.
Yeah.
And I flipped over the bars and I went into the trees and bent the steel bars. And I was still trying to hold it together until the transmission went out on the last lap.
Is
Yeah,
that
that
a
was skipping.
17-inch front on an XR100?
It would.
16-14, wasn't it?
Is it?
Didn't have an oddball front tire
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah, I
think
think
it
it
was
was,
a
a
16.
16.
That's hard
Yeah.
racing big bikes, man, when they can make it and you just literally can't.
Well, and this was Riverdale when they still had the trees by the river, so
Oh, okay.
that on the backside that mud was deep.
Yeah.
No one was laughing at the XR100 when we hit the endurocross section though, and it could go through the
Oh yeah, no, that was.
it could go through the logs.
Yes.
I don't know if people remember how evil Steve Corey can make an endurocross section.
I can definitely.
He would take a tape measure and purposely make the logs just barely far enough apart for a big bike to like fit in between them.
Oh, nice.
So
So you
you
have to
could-
drop, and then
So
go.
then you have
had
no-
to get through
Yeah.
it because if you came in and sat down in,
You're
were
stuck.
You're going
stuck.
over the bars,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was some good.
And then
times.
he would put turns. Remember? He always
the
loved
log
to do the
turns.
log turns.
Well,
Lovely.
Remember,
Especially when they're
I
covered in
remember you
mud.
on a 120. No, it was a 110
At
at
Castle Rock?
Castle Rock doing the enduro.
The logs were great. The tire, not so much. My trick was on the tires to throw the bike on top and then crawl up the tire.
Yeah.
What was it better than the 4-wheel drive quads were doing? Remember we had that brand new Polaris like
We need to
850.
find some of the video footage of the just
Such
heinous
good time.
crashes from the, was it the Mad Hatter?
That was the
That
Mad
was
Hatter.
the Mad Hatter at Castle Rock. Yeah, we had the giant tractor tires put up, and Normally you build up some dirt up to them, and Steve was like, just flick a little. That's good enough.
The one at the ones at the finish line were moving when you'd go over them.
Yeah, they would
do
rock.
this.
And then you put in firewood.
Okay.
Put in a firewood section, which he loves to do.
Firewood section's not bad. I
And
did that at the fairgrounds.
It
a
took
couple
out
years ago.
so many riders, and we had a couple people on 4-wheel drive quads, and one flipped it, didn't he?
Oh yeah,
upside down.
Yeah, just destroyed it. Brand new
Just went up
Polaris, like
and back.
800 EXP, and just
Well, how much do those weigh? I mean,
got to
that's
be
a lot of weight
600-700
coming down.
pounds
Like a
easy.
Volkswagen?
Yeah.
Small Volkswagen.
It was.
For sure.
Yeah, there were some rough moments, and I forgot it.
Devin Harriman coming through the log section the first time. That was sketchy.
Oh, I was waiting, honestly. I got to give kudos to Devin because I was like, oh, look, Devin's going to try off-road. This is going to be funny. Let's see how he goes. Oh, there, sure enough, he just kamikazes.
Yep.
But he just kept kamikazing. He
Yeah.
actually did really good.
Yeah, he did. Him and Kalberg, Brandon Kalberg was there, right?
Oh, yes.
I think he
BK
was.
tried it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's, and their whole technique was just pin it
Pin it to win it.
through the logs and through the firewood.
Yeah, I don't think, was there any.
I think BK crashed in the firewood. Maybe he can comment or message me later, but I feel like one of them crashed pretty good in the firewood.
I don't remember. Me and Matt Fuller crashed in the firewood.
Why did I do that on a pit bike?
I think just to prove a point, because that's what you like to do.
It was a bone stock $600 SSR too.
Yeah.
Like steel bars and everything.
Oh, like, I think we changed the chain because we broke that chain at.
Oh, yeah.
When we went to Mountain View.
We fixed the chain.
Yep.
I think I got second. Mateer almost slapped me, but I think I got.
Did you race? You didn't race the 30 plus because Jake raced the
No,
30
I
plus.
raced. I don't remember what class it was. Dude, this was 5 years ago. 6 almost.
Yeah, because Jake won our class, and then I finished second, and Fuller finished third. And me and Matt I got caught up in the logs the very first lap. Some guy went down in front of me and took me down with him, and then I had to charge the whole
And then
way
you tried to
back.
race pit bikes later, and you went down. We got the photo.
Oh, yeah,
evidence.
that's the one where I'm sliding into first.
It looks
Yeah.
like you're really fast, but you're actually going down.
No, that's the one where I'm sliding, and the pit bike's in front of me.
I feel like we need to do some more of these crazy events.
That was one of my all-time favorite.
Why don't we bring back the Mad Hatter this year?
We should. I think
yeah.
that's my go-to. That's one of my favorite
Riverdale
races.
Mad Hatter?
Yeah. Yeah, I'd totally be down for that.
Yeah. I'm
Do
I'm
enduro.
down
Okay,
anytime.
so we had enduro cross. I mean, we have to do the lawnmowers again because
If we can get some lawnmowers out there, that would be awesome.
I'm building a lawnmower if we do. So enduro cross, lawnmowers, pit bikes. We could do moto. There's room there at Riverdale. We
should
could
do
put in
a-
a flat track.
We could do a little flat track or a night GP would be,
And with a night GP.
yeah, in with the night GP. We could probably just, the upper parking area where the gravel is, we could just do a circle track right there.
Well, actually, if you go down and look at the track that he recently rebuilt, the furthest one,
Oh, on the
there's
left-hand
a
side?
loop around it that you can do a flat track on.
That's a big one though, right?
It's a big loop, but if you look at it, it's actually set up to easily, with just a few little dozer tweaks, to be a flat track. He
Okay.
did that on purpose.
I've seen that, and the issue that I have with it is we're talking third gear tapped.
Yeah.
When you're coming into that corner, like you're moving.
We're doing a little more in third gear. That's a big
Yeah,
one. That's
that's
not
a-
quite a miler,
that-
but it's big.
That's
Oh,
big.
yeah.
It's not
No,
like the
it's-
one that was at, because do you remember did you go to the Triple Crown at Woodland when Steve did the Triple
Yes.
Crown? God, I wanted to do that race so bad, but that was the year I broke my leg, so I was hopping
Oh,
around
yeah.
on crutches
Yeah, that one was a lot of fun.
because they had that short little circle track right
Yep,
up
yep.
around the starting line.
He
and
called
then
it a scramble.
a scramble.
He
Yep.
called it a scramble,
Yeah, it was
yeah.
called the Triple Crown, and then they did the enduro cross and then the motocross,
Motocross.
and it was flat track and motocross on Saturday and enduro and motocross on Sunday, and whoever finished best out of the
all
2 days,
three.
out of all of them, won the
We,
Won the
yeah,
Triple Crown.
we need to bring some of that back. Mad
Yeah.
Hatter 2021 Riverdale. I think it should be
Everybody's
a thing.
saying
River Rat GP.
the dirty pickle
the Dirty Pickle. Yes.
needs to come back.
Yeah, we never got to run the
Yeah.
Dirty Pickle. So
But Doug
would
All
be-
still
that
has
would be
$100 for the
pretty much
winner.
the same thing as a Mad Hatter. Maybe we could do like a 3-round series, a spring, summer, and fall, and then it's all one series. Because then you have 3 events laid out, and
So the Mad Hatter, the Dirty Pickle, and then what's the third one going to be called? Maybe we should do that at the after show. Get people to, because we're going to have to leave here in a minute, but
Yeah.
get people to name the third one.
No, the third one. The third one should be do it around the Pit Bike Nationals. I think that would be perfect. Because then you could run the Pit Bike Nationals, and then we could do the other events, do the night events, and then the next day.
I like
do
how
the
you're
other
just
events.
throwing more events on my plate, Jeremiah.
Well, I've
on,
always done
Justin,
that
you
too.
got
I've
it.
always said this is what we should do. I just
I like the enthusiasm, but
the days at the Castle Rock Flat Track were so much fun.
we could do the built banana race.
Built
That'd be
banana.
That'd be round 3. We can think about it. But
Yeah.
we do have to do it. I like the idea of mixing up the events, and I mean, I love moto, and that's my core, but I like having different things. Enduro cross.
Well, come on. Pit bike's your core. We know this.
Okay, fine. Pit bikes. Pit bikes. But
Well,
different-
Enduro's
different
mine. I
stuff.
love that kind of stuff.
yeah,
So-
let's mix it up. Let's see how really good you are on 2 wheels. You know, let's try. Like I tried flat track. I
Yeah.
admit those guys are wild. They're savages. You know that. And then you try enduro cross. You take a bunch of pro motocrossers. They go into the firewood. They're like, what is this?
Yeah.
And then vice versa. You go take an
Oh,
off-road
no.
dude and like, here's a supercross triple. So I like to see how you do in different stuff. And I think it's a ton of fun.
Oh, yeah. I think we could do that. I don't think we should do the pit bike night race down by the river again, though.
You didn't like that?
Well, I didn't mind it, but chasing Reese around on the Rhino was a lot of fun.
Did you race that one, Chuck?
I did not. No, I did not. I broke my foot actually right before that. Just being stupid and wearing Romeos when I should have been wearing riding boots, and ran over my own foot and broke it in 3 places, and that was it for me.
Well, we live and learn.
Yeah, I still managed to
Or
flag
just live.
that entire day though.
Yeah, you did.
So,
You were there.
Still did it. Still showed up and did my job. Just had to cry about it a little bit afterwards.
I gotta say, you guys have stuck it out through some of my crazy ideas and through some pretty big, gnarly events.
I still think the Chaos one was that one when we got.
Jeremiah's introduction to announcing Chaos at Castle Rock.
Oh God! The not only the announcing, that was because that was the first one that we did, right?
So the Chaos at Castle Rock was the first one. Summer
Yep.
Classic was the following year.
That was the one where we were worried that nobody was going to show up because there was nobody there at like 1:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah, no, it was just
And then
dead. And I
Everybody showed up
was
at
like,
once.
I just put up 10 grand for this.
Yeah.
And there's nobody really here. It was not even a normal amateur race. And then suddenly, it was just like someone opened the floodgates.
It was backed up to the freeway, so all the way from the fairgrounds through Castle Rock, up the hill, and to the freeway.
Yeah, we doubled, I think, that town's population.
Yeah, I think what did we had a killer turnout. We had 40 pros.
I think we ran out of wristbands.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, 68 pros.
Oh, 60. That's right, 68 pros.
Yeah, that
That's
was
amazing.
wild.
Yeah, it was. That was a good day.
And we're there. We're like, we don't have the staff for this. Like,
No, it was no. They were. The girls were crying at the front booth.
oh yeah, they're like, we don't even know what to do. There's so many people, and they were all trying to sneak around and make multiple lines over here. I'm like, we don't have this. We weren't prepared. It was
No.
like,
That
I didn't
was
know it would get that many.
Such a fun race. So was that the one Weston Pike? That was his week. 'Cause-
Weston Pike showed up and cashed out.
Yeah, because he smoked everybody there, smoked everybody at PIR,
then got
went
like
out to
top-
Mountain View, and then top
Oh yeah, went out to
7.
Mountain View and then got very good finish. I want to say
Yeah.
maybe top 5 at Washougal.
Yeah, maybe
he did really good.
Fifth. Yeah, I think he might have been fifth
Yeah,
at
Weston made
Washougal.
some
Yeah,
money.
that was the year before he got his JGR deal.
And if anyone wants to tag him on social media, get on Moto Monday, bro.
Yes.
Retired
he would be
now.
an awesome one to have on Moto
If I
Monday.
want, yeah, let's chat.
That guy was pure aggression on a dirt bike. Watching him come through the whoops at PIR when other guys were kind of hopping and he's just boom, boom, charging and passing 4 or 5 guys at a time. That was,
He looked ticked off
Yeah.
every lap.
well, he got
Just
hung up
charging.
in the gate or something.
Yeah,
So-
had to come back from dead last.
Yeah, that was pretty
Um,
awesome.
Yeah, that was wild watching him do that from dead last.
Man, you know
Um,
who we're missing over at Riverdale this year? So when I first bought my bike, I went out to Riverdale. It was like second down my bike, went out there, practiced and whatever. And I don't know if you know this dude, but I look over and there's Mike Harrelson. And he's on like a 96 YZ250
Oh, yeah.
two-stroke, obviously. And I'm like, hey, Mike, how are you? Whatever. Super nice guy, by the way. And he's like, hey, man, you want to go ride? I'm like, yeah, let me throw my helmet on, dude. So we pull out onto the main track, and I hear this noise, and there's Mike. Mike's bigger than I am. He's a big dude, and he's just disappearing. And he's
looks
clearing
like he was-
everything. And how old is Mike? Is he 50 now?
82.
Mike's
And
he's an
he
older
looks like he
guy.
spent his entire life on the mountain.
Yeah, mountain man. I mean, nicest guy you'll ever meet, really. But just, this 96 YZ250 just disappearing. I mean, he's honestly an intermediate class rider, and the guy was moving. I was impressed. Like, I would love to see Mike Harrelson.
He
if
doesn't
you
race,
see this
though.
somehow, come race.
He doesn't want. He told me I don't really want to race. I just ride.
He needs to. I have so many friends that I ride a lot of trails. I have my sister has property. We back up to some trails, and I have so many friends that ride trails on these KTM 300 two-strokes and the betas and the Shercos and all that, and they're all afraid to come race. And I'm like, you guys are like borderline junior level riders. Like, come out and race and have a good time. And
those
a lot of these trail guys, they just don't want to.
They're perfect bikes for the
Yeah,
racing too.
it's
I mean,
fun.
you'd be surprised. People, that guy that was out there on that, what was it, 99? No, it was a 2000 or 2001 380 KTM last year.
Oh yes.
He was smoking dudes with his
in
headlight.
the intermediate
Was that
class.
in the
Jim
intermediate
Johnson?
class.
Yes,
Yeah,
Jim.
yeah, him. No, he was cruising on
Yeah.
that thing.
Yeah, he was flying on that. I would pay money to see Mike Harrelson show and race.
Oh, for sure.
And if so, and he gets a trophy, he needs to show his belly.
I've got his number in my phone. We can call him after this. Man.
Okay, we can call him. I don't know if you. Do you know Mike?
No, I don't know
All
Mike.
right, so Mike, we're gonna have to get out of here in just a minute. But Mike looks like he was born and raised on Larch Mountain. Okay, he's got his suspenders on 24/7. He's rocking a pretty decent beard. I think last time I saw him.
No, he's got a decent beard. He's a logger.
Yeah, straight up logger. But if you ever see him in the summer or going swimming, he's got tattooed across his stomach. Oh, Fat Mike.
Has he been up at Riverdale just practice or something? Yes, I think I've seen him up there.
He used to have a clothing company, Fat Mike Clothing. BMXer, mountain biker, and he was a pretty savage pit. But we're talking OG 2002 pit bikes.
Oh, when it was.
He was there in the beginning of the 50 craze and all that kind of stuff. He
Nice.
was there, and I used to ride with him.
Is that like your favorite place? Was it Langtown or whatever you always tell me about?
I used to ride with him at 321 Moto.
Okay. Out in,
321 Moto. Dude, that's a throwback. When
Yeah.
I was like 13, 14, I went there, and I remember just being like, oh, this is so cool. Indoor
321
racing,
Moto.
like, man, and then, OT5 or whatever they called it before OT5. And, man, those were
Clark
the
County
glory
Fairgrounds.
days. Oh, yeah, glory days.
I took my dad out there and threw him on my 450. My dad's not a track rider. He's like, I don't want to do that again.
That's cruel to put him out.
What was either that or my 252 stroke?
Don't stick him out in an arena
Well,
cross.
he wanted to go ride, so.
Well, boys, we're gonna get out of here on this
Nice.
one.
All right, man.
That was fun. Any final words or shout outs?
No, I mean,
We're good,
shout
man.
out to
Thanks,
shout out to my
Justin,
boys
for-
at Riverdale that keep us rolling.
Yeah,
Porter,
shout out.
Billy, Chuck, of course, our flaggers, office people. I can't remember her name ever, but she's helped me out so much down there.
Courtney
Is it Courtney?
in the office?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, she is fantastic.
Oh,
Like
110%.
without her, I would be so screwed on that
110%,
trackside. So
yes. Oh yeah. Thanks to all the people who helped put the whole thing together. It's been a wild start to things this year.
Dan Dale, of
and-
course.
Of course, which we have to get him back in the podcast.
Yes.
But it's been awesome, and I want to thank you boys for helping put it on.
Oh, of course, man. Yeah, and thank you for everything you do.
Yep.
Jeremiah for helping me with my bike all the time and all the questions I have. Porter for being a homie, helping out at the track. Bobby for being there, being a good guy. And other Bobby for putting on the show. Dan Dale, obviously. Tim, because Tim's basically the face of Riverdale. Tim is
Fastest water
Riverdale.
truck driver in the
Yeah,
Northwest.
no, I've seen him clear the finish line table in that water truck. It can be done.
yeah, pretty sketchy. Shout out to my girlfriend Kessa for keeping all this going and allowing me
Yeah,
to
bro.
ride when I can. So
Right on. Well, folks, that's been a podcast. If you guys want to support us, check out patreon.com/Moto Monday. And thank you to Bobby P Media for putting this whole thing on. Moto Monday 134. We'll be back with the after show. And we got a bit of an auction This will be the last auction I got, and we're going to be doing it in just a few minutes here. Thank you, folks. See you in a few.